What you're looking at here is a standard JETSONIC light bar used on many police vehicles in the 1980s. These things persisted on police cars throughout the 1990s, although increasingly rare as the strobe-type light bars became more popular. So over the past several years, I've had a few people ask me what it looks like inside these light bars, and it's a pretty easy process to go ahead and pop the lenses off. The end caps here, just on either side of the nameplate, have two screws. So you just remove both of these screws, and the entire lens assembly or dome assembly will slide right off. So I'll go ahead and take this blue lens off and kind of show you what it looks like on the inside. It's a pretty quick operation, removing both screws, and I don't have an extra hand, so I'll kind of slide this out a little bit before I take the whole thing off, so you can kind of see how it's on tracks here on the bottom. And you can kind of slide the whole thing out. So it won't lift up. You actually have to slide the whole thing out sideways and then take it off. All right, so there you have it. You've got a whole bunch of gears and reflectors on the top. And so what you have in this case, that is the takedown light, which I told you this is not really CHP accurate, as the non-rotating takedown lights are supposed to be on the outside edges of the light bar. Although those type of light bars are increasingly difficult to get a hold of. If I ever do come across one, I will obviously upgrade the car so it is more accurate. On the outside, you do have your rotator, and you do have reflectors that kind of give you the classic back and forth flash pattern with this type of light bar. Now, of note, when I say the flash pattern, the back and forth flash pattern is only with the type of JETSONIC or Aerodynamic light bars, or even the Twin Sonics that are chain driven, which means the motors on these light bars have a giant chain that goes the full length of the light bar from the red side to the blue side, and it spins the rotators synchronously. So it kind of gives you a nice even back and forth flash pattern. All right, so moving to the back side, this configuration does not have an alley light, which is standard with CHP, but you do see it does have mounting hardware for the alley lights. This light bar actually did have alley lights connected to it at one point in its history when it was assigned to the Alameda County Sheriff's Department. There is a rear rotating bulb assembly, and there is the non-rotating back flasher. Here's the assembly operating without the dome. Standard motor-driven gears. Obviously cannot see the chain, but it is down there underneath. I do not have the black flashers turned on at the moment. So you can see there's quite a bit of machinery going on there on these old style light bars. All right, lastly, it wouldn't be fair to talk about the light bar and all the kind of flashing stuff that goes on upstairs without talking about the dome assembly itself. Now, the JETSONIC light bars came in two different type of configurations. One that actually had these inserts inside that gave the domes their color, or domes that were solid red or blue or amber or whatever color that you chose. So the domes in this case are clear, and they have inserts on the inside, as you can see, and those also slide in and out. And you can kind of just change the configuration. So if you're with a department where you needed part of the light bar amber or some different color where it flashes not just all blue, you can replace these with a different type of color lens to kind of give you the flash pattern or the effect that you're looking for. You can see that this dome was manufactured August 1986. Okay, so a couple more things to close up with. The original CHP Lightbar and variants that are pretty close to that have a relay system that is kind of in that general area where you see that terminal block. This specific Lightbar does not have that, although the upgrade that we're planning on probably around spring this year, we are going to install the relay system that normally comes stock with a CHP Lightbar in that same location. Let's see, let's go ahead and close this. They just kind of slide in like that. And you more or less just get your screws, put them back there, and you're a good deal. All right, one last thing that's important to note is the speaker housing. So these speaker housings typically contain the Federal Signal FS100 speaker system, but you would probably never find a CHP car, at least with the Dodge Diplomats, that had the speaker contained within the speaker housing. And the reason being is having a speaker directly over your head while you're driving, it goes straight through that headliner and all the insulation you got up there and the steel roof. It's really loud. In fact, I'll tell you something. If you're driving this car and you're going code 3, let's say you're just got the lights on, you don't even have the siren on, the sound of the gears and all that kind of stuff is really loud inside the car itself. I can personally speak for the aerodynamics as being a little bit louder in the cars than these JETSONICs, but it's pretty noisy nonetheless. So imagine having all that with a siren directly over your head. You would not be able to hear the radio or the dispatcher or anybody for that matter while you're doing either a code 3 run or even in a pursuit. As a result, you'll find that most agencies in the 1980s mounted their speakers up in front like this. This is the standard CHP configuration. But I have seen agencies back in the 1980s where they actually cut out a section in the middle of the grille where they mount the FS100 on the Dodge Diplomat. I've also seen it with the Capri Classics and I think a couple other vehicles during that time period. All right, so that about wraps it up for the Federal Signal JETSONIC Lightbar and maybe to a certain degree, even the Federal Signal Aerodynamic. If you got any specific questions about these light bars or how they're kind of wired up with the CC1 controller, feel free to ask. And on that note, I'll see you on the next one.